Welcome to the Choosing Happiness podcast with me, your host, Rudrani Devi, the Happiness Lady. In these conversations, we will be discussing an uncommon way to find joy in your life with weekly special guests. Did you know you could choose your happy? Won't you come and play and discover how these magical tools could work for you? Let's do this! Well, howdy, y'all. Rudrani Devi, the Happiness Lady, on the Choosing Happiness podcast. Residing here in Nashville, Tennessee. I know that I'm all over the world sometimes. In fact, my next guest, I actually met her in Puerto Vallarta. I just like saying Puerto Vallarta, y'all. It's just rolling the R's and all the things. But she's from the Netherlands. And this is what I love about Access Consciousness. We're in 179 countries, y'all. So you never know who you're going to get, who you're going to meet. We became fast friends. We traded our bars. We traded bars sessions, which we'll talk about for those of you that have never heard of the bars. And we sang some together. And I'm thrilled and elated that I am now going to the Netherlands, which I've never been prior, to facilitate a Right Voice View class. But we'll get into all that later. I want to first introduce my next amazing, brilliant guest, Astrid Vester. Thank you so very much for agreeing to be on this podcast with me.
Wow, Rudrani, thank you for this introduction. I feel so happy to be here. And yes, if I may introduce myself, I met, quote unquote, Access Consciousness in 2018, 2019. And before, I already had a practice in integrative medicine. So I'm a doctor and I studied medicine. And then I found out, well, I must do something. I must do something to create more possibilities. So I studied a lot about food and herbs and supplements and so on. And then I thought, that energetic thing, that is something. I should go into that deeper. And then access comes my way. And I thought, wow, this gives so much more possibilities and space in my work as a doctor in integrative medicine. And it gives magic. So I use the tools of Access Consciousness. I also use a lot of body processes and also, of course, access bars. If and people are start to ask for access bars, and also they find me for the access body processes because they hear from other people, wow, this is working, you should go there and it's works so fast, and you don't need to do so many things, and you don't need to do you mustn't do, you understand? So we have so many things that if you have that, then you should do that. If you have that, then you should do that. But with access consciousness tools, the possibilities are much more greater and much more faster also to heal.
I
Yes.
agree. I was doing tapping before bars, and it would take me 10 sessions with a client to
Yes,
do
that's
tapping, and they could get it in one bar session. So correct me if I'm wrong here, but you didn't even get your bars run first. You actually just went and took a class.
yes,
Is that what happened?
yes, that's right. And my friend said, Astrid, you should go to a class. And then I said, well, I do already so many things. I have done this and studied that and studied that. But then she said, you should come. And then it felt so light. It felt so wonderfully light. And I was almost carried to that class. And then I did that class. And then I thought, oh, wow, this is energetic medicine. I am sold. I want to go have more. And I did a lot of classes after that.
I love it. And just for those of you that may not know, Access Bars is, in my opinion, one of the best or most effective body processes in Access. And we actually have hundreds of them now. It's crazy. When I was first introduced in 2003, all I knew about was bars and maybe 4 or 5 other body processes. There was no 3-day body class yet, you know. But what it is, folks, is 32 points on the head that if you touch them in different groupings, it's like hitting a delete button, and it eliminates the thoughts, feelings, and emotions that are keeping you stuck, that are keeping you from having space, keeps you in that cranky pants mode because, you're an infinite being, people. Your nature is to be happy, but people don't know they can choose their happy, is what I've noticed. So did you started integrating bars into your practice, right? And give me an example. Was there something where you just saw somebody change? Like, I mean, because those are the moments I live for, is when you see great change.
Yeah, there were many, many changes with many people, but I had one example that struck me the most. And that was a man that came in and he said, "Wow, I'm so stuck and my body is aching so much. I don't know what I can do, I should do." And we talked a little bit about all kinds of emotions and thoughts and what was stuck in the body. And then I said to him, "Well, if you want to get free of this, I can offer you an access bars session." And then he said, "Wow, let's try that." And he was a very, yeah, minded, yeah, very
Mind chat,
much.
put it
Yes,
in.
yes.
Yeah, that's me.
So I was also really astonished that he chose that. And we started the bar session, and I did it for, I think, an hour and a quarter of an hour. And he was lying on the bank and was sleeping. And after that, he got awake and he said, "Wow, I feel so much alive." And he said to me, "I even feel if I had sex with you." I said,
Ah,
"Huh?"
I love it.
He said, "My body feels so alive and I don't feel pain in my joints that I had before."
Wow.
And then we both
What
said to each other,
session.
"Yeah." And
It doesn't always happen that way, y'all, but this guy evidently was ready for some change.
yes, that was right. Yeah.
It happens as fast as you're willing to receive it, is what I've noticed. I mean, the first time I had my bars run was in 2003, and I passed out. I went to sleep, you know? And when I woke up, I was like, "You mean an hour went by?" It was actually probably a little more than an hour. And the only reason why I even woke up is because in the very end, you lift the head and there's just different groupings. And I traded with her. I was doing some channeling and some other type of energetic work that was not access. Um, and so she would come to me one week, and the very next week I would go to her. So I was getting my bars run twice a month for years before I ever took a bars class, because that was 2003. She moved, I think, in 2007 or 8, and then I didn't have my bars run again until I think it was 2011, because I was like, what was that thing I had done? I can't remember what she did, and I didn't know the name of it. She didn't tell me what it was, and but I remembered a clearing statement, and so I looked in my filing cabinet, and I found the clearing statement, which is like a magic wand, y'all. I won't go into the details, but if you want to know more, go to www.theclearingstatement.com. And Simone Milasas and the co-founder, Dr. Dane here, explain it brilliantly. But I found that it got me online, and then I found a bars class, and like you, that was it. That was all she wrote. I was like, I am going full throttle here, and I took every class that I could possibly take, and became a
Yeah.
bars facilitator. You did the same, didn't you? Become a bars
Yes.
facilitator
Yeah.
like
Right away.
more people. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's amazing. And I also love to give the bars classes and all the people learning this access bars treatment in one day. So
Mhm.
where do you find a study that you learn something to treat or trade with in one day? I don't know. I do not know anything.
True
So
story.
it's so amazing, and people are so happy with it. And yeah, I love it. I love it. Yes.
Thank you for choosing it. Thank you so much. We need you in this world right now. Trust me, the world's a little cray cray in my interesting point of view. I'm out
Yes.
looking out the window and the world looks beautiful to me. I mean, it's like this world is in my reality, but the reality that's in this world is not mine. Put it that way.
Well said. Yeah, I also say to myself and also to the people that want to hear that you are in this reality, but you don't need to be part of it.
Yeah.
So you can look at everything and see all the presumptive realities and the reactive realities and everything. You also can say, I don't need to be part of that. And
Oh,
there are a lot of people in the Netherlands that understand it. So I explain some of the tools of access consciousness, and we call it the big five,
Yeah.
and they understand.
Wow.
So
You just got
it's
all advanced on my people because they haven't heard us talk about the big five or any of this stuff just yet, which is okay because now is probably the time because, as you said, more people are beginning to understand. I've
yeah,
noticed.
yeah,
So, just to touch base on presumptive for those of you that are going, what are they
yeah,
talking about? We presume so much in this reality of how we're supposed to act, how we're supposed to be. It's presumed that if I'm going to be the good daughter or wife or, child or classmate or whatever it is, I have to show up a certain way. And we presume that that's what we have to do because we've been trained to believe that. It's almost like we've been brainwashed to believe that that's the way it goes. But what if that wasn't actually true for you? And that's what I loved about that heavy light tool. So what makes you feel lighter is actually truer for you than what makes you feel heavy. So if in your world something that everyone says you should be doing is feeling heavy, probably you shouldn't be doing it. Just
Mhm,
so
mhm.
you're saying that these people are catching on quickly.
Yes, very,
Have you
very.
noticed? Have
Yes,
you
yeah,
noticed? More
yeah.
people are seeking. I've noticed not as many sleepwalkers as there were before. There's
That's right. And also, I see a lot of mm, young people, so between 20 and 30 years old, that want to know, that want to know what they know. That's also what access says, but really they want to know what they know. And then they come, and if there is a sense of, wow, you are interested in my world, and you are also quite familiar with my world, and you can, can go along with it. That's so beautiful, and also already part of a kind of healing process. And a lot of young people, I can only speak for the Netherlands, but in the Netherlands are um, seeking also this kind of space,
huh.
and also tools, and having more possibilities.
Hmm. So the Dutch actually do
You
want
want.
more possibilities.
Yes,
Who knew? No, I know
yes.
what you mean by the younger folks. I've noticed that as well. In my classes, I'm getting a lot of younger people than I
Wow.
was in the past. When it was, I think in the beginning, a lot of people saw Access as being kind of new agey and all of
Yes.
that. And now, we're not woo woo. In fact, what I love about the founders, the co-founders, Dr. Dane here and Gary Douglas, who it's their fault we're even having a conversation, is that tagline of, what you were saying, empowering people to know what they know. And they'll say, hey, just because it's coming out of my mouth doesn't mean it's true for you. Don't do it because I do it. If
Hmm.
it's not light for you, don't go there. And how many organizations actually do that?
Hmm. Yes, right. Yeah.
I don't know
All of.
of many. I really don't know of many that I've actually, I can't think of one. I mean, I belong to, I'll just put it in quotes, a cult. I followed a guru for quite a while, and I got a lot out of it. I did, and there were many rules about being a part of this organization. And if you went against the rules, you were frowned upon or you were kicked out. All this stuff. Access
Hmm.
doesn't care if you come, you go, how long you stay, if you want to come back. I mean, I've
Hmm.
seen people go through a lot of phases, and the thing
Hmm.
about it is, if you're willing to search, your shit's gonna come up, people.
Hmm.
It is,
Yeah.
and you might need to take a step back. I mean, I'm I think I'm a little bit like Astrid. I find something and I go, "Oh my god, this is better than sliced bread. I've got to tell the world. I'm gonna get on a mountaintop. I'm gonna scream it and shout it, from to all the
Oh.
pe-" And then I had to finally get to that space of, hey, you know what? Not everybody is asking for this, and that's okay.
Hmm.
And I don't need to save the world, which is the fifth part of
Yeah,
the big five,
exactly.
the fifth element, that
Exactly.
need to
Yeah.
heal the planet when the people aren't even asking.
Yeah. That's
And
right. That's all.
when you can finally get to that place. Mhm.
Yeah, that's very good to say so, because I recognize that I was in the big five, the fifth element of the big five, and wanting to heal everybody although they are not asking for that. And then
Mhm.
I thought, oh wow, that's really kind of superiority. And
Yeah.
yeah, I thought, oh wow, I shouldn't do that. Oh
She's being
yeah,
really cute. I mean, I was that superior asshole also that was like, "You have to try this. I know it's gonna work for you. It's much better than what you're choosing now." And who likes to hear that? I mean, I didn't use those words by
oh
all means,
yeah,
but when I finally let go of that, that's what I love about the no point of view. The good, the bad, and the ugly. If you can, the tagline of Access Consciousness is all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory. Even the crappy stuff.
yes,
Because if you
even.
can just look at it and not have a point of view and go, okay, what else can I choose now? Instead of
Mhm.
going, oh, woe is me. My life sucks. I don't know. What am I going to do?
I'm making myself wrong. Oh wow. Well, and that is not the case. So everything that I like this quote so much. Everything comes with ease, joy, and glory to be so. And I tell it to everybody. And then I also say, yes, today I have a crappy day, but all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory.
Hmm.
So then you show that you also can receive the things that are not so quite nice to receive. But receiving is a very, very big tool to
Yeah.
stay in contact with the earth and with the universe and you being you.
Hmm.
So it's amazing. And I also was thinking about when I'm in the medicine field. So, in the medicine field, there are a lot of presumptive realities. So, you have a complaint and you should do that. You have a complaint and you should do that. Or you have this illness, you should do that, and blah, blah, blah. And when I found Access, I discovered there's a lot more possible. But also, what I discovered is that the body functions in a totally different way if you use energetic medicine.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
was so
Speak more about
lost.
that because I'm sure, Esther, that there's a lot of people that think you're speaking, I don't know, Swahili right now because they're like, what do you mean energetic medicine? I mean, if I have a headache, I take a pill. If my back hurts, I take a pill or I put a topical. And so, and because to me, everything's energy. But can you kind of go into the definition the best way you can if you were going to explain to someone who had never heard of such a thing? What is
Yeah,
energetic medicine?
yeah. Energetic medicine is to me that you look why a body is stuck. To me, a body is stuck a lot of times because of presumptive realities. So, what you think and a lot of emotions and um, the things that you think that are true that are not true for you. A lot of things, zeg maar, are stuck in the body, and if you can clear them with a clearing statement or other clearings or whatever, then the body starts to release and release more and release more and release more, and starts to heal by its own. And also, what struck me the most was, wow, that are all kind of um, electric loads in the body that give these complaints, and the electricity is coming from everything that you are thinking or emotions and so on. But in fact, you are a kind of space where, um, like golf, I don't know the English word of where you are yeah, moving. We are moving. You are not bits and bytes. You understand? You are not a
Yeah.
computer. You're like that. So I discovered that if we did the clearings, then that kind of energy came back. So you are an energy that is floating, and also the energy of the photon wavelength that
There you
struck
go. You
a
pull that right
lot.
out of
Oh, wow, yes. And I said, yeah, we are a photon wavelength, and pull the photon wavelength in and then let it go, all the electricity. And then people start to let it go. And then there was so many changes, so much that changed. And I was so astonished. And I start to look at the mitochondria that are the, the energy motors of the cell. And then I thought, we
Hmm.
think that food is supplying the mitochondria with energy, but the mitochondria are themselves energy. They are themselves light. They are beaming light. You only need some food to get it open, to make it, to release it. And then I thought, oh wow, this is totally different than I ever have learned. So what about food? What about lifestyle? Just listen to your body. What is your body asking for? Um, Maybe it's not asking for 3 times a day to eat. Maybe it's not asking to 3 hours workout in a school and come home and sit on the couch and say, I can do nothing anymore. So just,
I feel like you just described my life story before Access. Love that you brought up the photon wavelength because just for you guys, we have this thing in Access called algorithms. There are different numbers that are actually algorithm interrupts. And one of my favorites is a 10. And when you flow a 10 at anything, what you're doing is you're breaking up what Astrid was talking about, all these photon particulates, all these little pieces that are kind of robotic or very electronic, and you're dissipating them into photon wavelengths. So anytime that there's anything that's kind of making you cranky pants, maybe it's a family member, you don't have to go up to them and go 10, 10, 10. You just, in your mind, blow them some tens. It helps them. It helps you. It's a contribution no matter what. And the thing about the bars is when we are doing these hand positions, I didn't know we were going to be talking so much about bars. It actually dissipates all of this electrical charges out of your body. And that's why it feels like the best massage you've ever had with your clothes on. That's why the guy was like, I felt like I had sex with you. The one client you were talking about earlier, where you just can't believe that your body can be so relaxed. And usually, or at least that's what Gary said, I've heard him say it a few times, that, we're used to only receiving when we're having sex. And then a lot of those people don't even receive. So bars is really a way of entraining that person, that being that's willing to receive it, because they're only going to receive as much as they can or are willing to. It's teaching their body how to receive.
yeah, right.
And it's the beauty of it,
Yeah, it's so beautiful. The receiving, I didn't know that it was such a tool. And when I start to receive more and touch and teach people bars and so on, and they started to receive more, they said also, wow, I feel so much more happy and so much more relaxed and so much more in contact with everything that's around me. Yeah, so we have learned to give, but receive is a totally different thing. And the third thing is what I discovered and also received from Access Consciousness is that in the gifting is the receiving, in the receiving is the gifting.
Mhm.
So how does it get any better than that?
True story. Well, we have to pause for a moment for our sponsor, but I want to get back to more of this conversation. So hold tight, you guys. We will be back in just a bit.
Mandu is a boutique fitness studio concept, and we are actually the first FDA cleared EMS training workout. And what we do essentially is that we will have a client come in, we will hook them up to a whole body EMS suit, and then we perform a workout on a medical grade device called an eFit device. And that device will send an electrical current to their body through electrodes in these suits that we put on them. And this electrical current is just basically stimulating the electrical current that you already have inside your body. So everybody is made up of electrical impulses. It's what helps you walk, helps you move. We're tapping into that and making it stimulate it more to where we can cause a muscle to actually contract involuntarily. So we can actually create resistance without adding a load to the body. So that is why we, as you see online, it always says ultra low impact. It is scientifically proven. It is absolutely ultra low impact.
And we're back talking to the lovely, amazing, brilliant light being, Miss Astrid Vester. Thank you so much for being my guest. I'm amazed at you and your talents and abilities and all the things. I did want to ask you, I was in the back of my mind and then it went away. So I'm going to ask now, how long were you practicing as an MD before you actually discovered Access?
I really was an MD for about 4 or 5 years. I worked as a house doctor and as a psychiatrist. And then I thought there must be more possible than only this regular medicine. And then after that, I worked for 30 years as a natural medicine naturopath, or we call it now in the Netherlands integrated or integrative medicine. So we integrate all kinds of knowledge about food and homeopathics and lifestyle and supplements and so on into your work and see what works. And you already have a lot of space there. And then in the last year, so about in 2000, end of 2018, I started to integrate access and access tools, access bars in my profession. And wow, I didn't tell you, but I give lectures to colleagues, and we call it the integrative lectures. And there's a education of 2 years, and they did allow me to discuss the book of Dane.
Being You, Changing the
No,
World. That book?
no,
Which one?
no. Body whispering.
Oh God, I love that book so much.
So, and the doctors wanted to hear that. They want to listen to that, and they received it also. So I was amazed and so happy.
Yes, you know what? I just want to acknowledge how you just go. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people would be like, you can't introduce that to doctors, they're never going to get it. You know, and
Yeah.
I just the last bars I taught, I had a GP in a general practitioner in my class, and she brought her special needs child. I just want to call him special. The needs part, he doesn't need anything. He's ADD, ADHD, OCD, autism, all the things, but brilliant. This kid was so brilliant and
Hmm.
loved to sing, by the way. So when he heard that I was a singer, I said, "You want to see something?" And I had my big TV going because we had just seen Gary and Dane do the little demonstration of the bars, which is part of the class when you guys choose it, if you want to choose it.
Mhm.
And I pulled up one of my YouTubes because I have the YouTube for my artistry as a singer songwriter, and then I have my YouTube dedicated to access specialties and my own, holistic,
Mm.
whatever you want to call it. And so I'm pulling it up, and he goes, "Oh my God, you can sing!" And then he started belting. And
Oh,
this little
cool.
kid, I mean, I don't know how old he is, 7, 8, could
Oh,
sing. Nobody told him not to do it. He knew his right voice, for example. I mean, and that's the class I'm going to be facilitating, y'all, in the Netherlands. Um, and initially, that class was created for public speakers and singers. And when I first discovered it, I was like, I really want to facilitate this class. I did a little bit backwards than Astrid did. I mean, I did take all the body classes, but I wasn't ready to be a CF. I didn't want to be a certified facilitator of access. I wanted to be a right voice for you facilitator. And Gary kept telling me, no, I'm sorry, but you have to be a CF of access, which means you can teach bars and foundation and some specialty, little smaller classes. But there's these prereqs and you have to do it. And I
mhm.
understand now why. And access is always changing, and so has that class. I
Mm.
finally became certified in right voice. I think it was 2019. And every class is different. I do have people that still come just for voice, just for singing
Mm.
or public speaking, but it's changed so much. To me, it's like a right voice. Right voice is like a being you class on steroids. Because being you is about being willing to be all of you regardless without apology, which I love those classes.
Mm.
Right voice for you is about actually implementing them. So you got to have some kahunas if you want to take that class. Meaning you got to have some balls. I don't know if the
Yeah.
Dutch have a translation for kahunas, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's you almost have to be brave to take the class. But what I
Mm.
find is there's a lot of space. I'm going to put it in quotes, safe space, because to me, space is space, for people to actually have that vulnerability and
Wow.
step into who they are with their voice, regardless of how it shows up. Sometimes the right voice is about being able to step into your anger,
Mm.
because in this
Yeah.
reality, people are like, you can't do that. But what if that's what was required, or that was what was going to set you free? There's that heavy light tool again. Hey, if I choose this, is it going to create
Mhm.
greater? So
Mhm.
I do love that class. I can't wait to get my hands on your people. I will think,
It
but
comes into my mind that the Dutch people are also a very shy people. That's a little bit a conclusion, but well, you can say that, and also very yeah, they will not step in the front. So, but if they would step in the front, there is a lot of talent.
hmm.
So
So
I
they're
was
very
thinking,
polite.
yeah, yeah, they are.
How boring. Oh my goodness. That's just my point of view, though. Let's shake up the Dutch. Let's
Yeah,
do it.
that's
Double Dutch bus. There's a dance. I don't know. It's like with the ropes, where you're doing the ropes with another person. If you guys don't know what I'm doing, I mean, if you're not on YouTube, you have no clue what I'm doing. But I'm kind of circling my hands towards each other, and it's a child's play where you say some kind of rhyme or something, and it's called the Double Dutch bus. I don't know why. So we're gonna shake them up with a Double Dutch bus. Why not? Huh? Really? Do you think they're ready for this?
Yes, they want it. There are a lot of people, we call it a kind of a training that you can step forward. So there are a lot of trainings like that, and people want to take that because they want to break out of something. They don't know break out of what. So they don't understand what is, or yeah, or they don't have a sense of what is really going on. But there is a sense of I want to step up. I want to have more in my life. I want to have more me in my life. So I think yes, Dutch people are ready.
I'm
I
ready.
expect that the class that you're ready to give in the Netherlands, the right voice for you, they're yeah, they're really people are coming. Yeah, I sense that it's going to be terrific and it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be fantastic,
Mm.
and you are fantastic, and you have
Ah,
a fantastic yeah, you have a fantastic voice. I love it. I heard it
ah,
when we had CF training. Wow, it was
me
really really
too.
beautiful.
We sang together. We sang we did harmonies together. And I got to tell you guys, I didn't realize this. Um, there, a lot of people don't get what harmony is. My mother was like, "You are amazing at harmony." I just hear it. And when we sang together, and I was laying on my back, y'all, on a table, receiving my barras, and we're
It
singing, and it was so much fun and so beautiful.
was
And I
really fun.
want to reiterate it, right voice does not have to be about singing,
No,
okay? But
no,
we really connected in that space, and you have a lovely voice. You really do.
thank
You
you
really
so
do.
much.
And,
Thank
and she can do harmonies too, y'all. She can. All the things.
you.
So, hmm. What would you personally like to get out of that class? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I think I should say, or I would say, I would step up much more. Step up in a lot more space and a lot more of my talents, exposing my talents. Because, like you say, I also like to sing. So I was thinking, why not a singing career? Why should I choose that?
Been there, done that, and still working at it. I mean, you don't have to ask me to sing once, y'all. I'll just break out in song. And in fact, in a lot of my classes, I have a tendency to do that. People will say something that reminds me of a song. To me, everything is a song, And I will say this: I never, how can I put it? I came to Nashville to be a singer songwriter, right? And it was never about the money or the fame. It was
Mhm,
always about I love singing. And
mhm,
I ended up in an all-girl rock band literally within the first literally, y'all, and I mean literally, within the first year of being in Nashville. And I didn't realize that was weird. I didn't know that that was an anomaly. We got a record deal, on a very small label. We were touring for college campuses, and I did get tired of sleeping on people's couches and stuff because they didn't have the budget that we really needed. Sometimes we were sleeping on the bus, y'all. But I
mhm.
enjoyed it so much, And when you do it from the exuberance and the joy of it,
Mm.
that's when you create,
Mm.
So it's just that space of, and then I could double my vocals and all that. So I had a lot of work, and I would spoon feed people harmonies, and I'm in several other people's bands and do background vocals and whatnot. And my band got shut down in 2020 because we couldn't go anywhere. So I
Oh,
lost about half of my bandmates, but we're getting the band back together again, and it'll be fun to perform.
cool.
We'll have to
Mm.
do some karaoke when we get to the Netherlands, that's for sure.
Yes, that's nice. Yes, we should do that.
Absolutely. More fun. I just love. How many of y'all out there in podcast land are terrified about singing in public until you get a couple of shots in you? And then,
And
wow,
then, yes, you go.
what if you could not be intimidated, or what if you could actually get on stage and sing, whether you had anything to, I don't know, lower your walls and barriers in a different kind of way?
Yeah.
So, yeah, what would that take? What will that take? Well, I'm curious. And you guys will have all the details for that class below, and I also will have the details for where you can find Astrid. But I want to know, Astrid, do you have any other specialties in Access? Are you just a CF, or do you
Yeah.
do other?
Okay, Nea, I'm just a CF. I'm allowed
Just
to give.
yeah.
I'm allowed to give
You
the
guys
V.
don't realize how much it takes to be a CF. There is a lot of prerequisites that go into being a CF. So when you say just a CF, I might pee myself because it's an investment, y'all. When you go to a CF, they have spent a lot of time and a lot of money, not to make it significant, to take all the prereqs that are required to be able to facilitate. And we have to re-up every year, and they're always adding something else. So I don't know if I do it now. So I really admire you. But because in 2018, it was a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah, it is a
Anyway,
lot. Yeah.
so what else do you facilitate that it's, and it doesn't have to be Access. What else are you about?
I do a lot of teaching. So I have morning meditations in which I also use Access consciousness tools. So every month I have a 7 to 10 day morning meditation.
Oh,
And
wow.
I have classes about, for example, parasites. So if you want to know something about parasites, then come to my free class on the 21th of October. That's a lot of things that I do, and also teach my colleagues integrative medicine and have my own practice, of course. And I give bars classes, foundation classes. Also, I want to give the Being You classes. So that's around the book of
Yeah,
Dane here,
yeah,
Being You, Changing the World book. It's fantastic.
yeah.
I think I did read it for about 100 times, but I still read new things. Isn't it amazing?
It's true.
So,
What I ended up doing is buying it on audio. And so sometimes if I'm cleaning the house, or I'm just out in the yard or doing stuff, I'll just skip over to a chapter, and I'm like, I do not remember reading or hearing that before.
it is.
You know, it's like you'll hear it when you're ready to hear it.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. I know exactly what you're talking about. That's a fun class to facilitate. Have you done it yet?
Yes, I am giving one in November, so I've scheduled it for no, not really middle of November. And yeah, but all of the classes of Access Foundation are beautiful. I also like personally the Access Bars class a lot, you understand? So I give every month there is an Access Bars class, and if there is one person or there's 10, it's always fun to do. It's
True
always fun.
story. I never make it about the numbers.
No.
I find that so interesting because, I know people that if they don't get more than two people, if they get only two people, they won't teach the class. If I get
Yeah.
one, I'll
No,
facilitate the class. And I've had a class as big as 35 people. And that's a class you have to take in person, obviously, because you're touching bodies, you know.
Mhm. Ja, precies.
But it's because I know it's more about creating the future. You change one person's life, everybody they touch, they're changing
Right.
their life.
Right. Thank you for this. Yeah, thank you for reminding this, because that's also why we do this, for consciousness. More consciousness for you is more consciousness for the whole world. Yeah.
Yes. True story. My mother and I went to a Broadway play. We went and saw Wicked last Sunday. And our driver that picked us up, because we Uber, I don't park downtown, y'all, unless I know they're parking. So anyway, I digress. We walk out, I get this Uber driver, and he's very talkative, but he's interesting. And I can tell he's a seeker. And so he finally says, "What is it that you do?" And I told him, well, I facilitate classes. I told him a little bit about access. It's hard to describe access to someone who's never heard about it. And my mom had said, and she's written 3 books. And I said, well, 4 now. I'm getting ready. He goes, really? And I said, yeah, I have one that speaks 8 languages. So he was asking me, this is the whole podcast is about Choosing Happiness podcast. Even wrote a book about it. Here it is. And he said, I think I have that book. And so I pulled it up on my phone. And sure enough, he was like, yeah, I have it. I just haven't read it yet. He goes, wow, you're the author? And I went, I am. And I'm not I don't have ghostwriters, y'all. I actually write my own stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
And I even have a specialty class, listening to the whispers of creative writing, which I love that class. That never shows up the way I think it's going to either. Well, I gave him my card and he texted me last night. He said, it was wonderful meeting you. I don't want to have anything sold to me, but I am curious. So I came back and I said, well, I have no interest in selling anything to anybody. I am interested in those who are seeking. I said, have you had a chance to look at the website? He goes, not yet. And I said, well, look things over. If you just want to have a coffee, because that's the thing. We want to be the invitation to more consciousness.
Oh, wow. Beautiful.
We realize a lot of people may not actually be choosing that. There's a lot of people in this world. I remember stepping up to the mic in CF training and saying this. I said, I remember Gary once saying, people may even know they're being lied to and they don't care.
Yeah.
And they just like the herd, follow along. And it was so light when he said it. And I thought, so that's why this reality is the way it is. Because, it's like, I'll listen to people on TV and I know they're lying. I know some of these politicians are lying. I can perceive it in my very being. It's that heavy light tool, y'all. And yet, and even with the news, a lot of the news is heavy. And I'm like, why are people even watching the news if it's not even true? So now I throw algorithms at it. My whole part of my journey is getting on my treadmill in the morning and throwing algorithms at everybody who's lying. It's like, tell the truth or die, okay? Because you're taking up space. They're taking up space. They're not. I'm really about creating consciousness, and these people are not. They're literally about destroying consciousness. Putting people to sleep. That's my interesting point of view. So that's what I want to say about that. I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, I could talk to you forever. We're going to make sure that everybody has all your information, especially because you have so many classes coming up. And this meditation thing sounds wonderful too. I was doing Wednesday meditations online for a while, and I'm being I'm getting that itch now just for having this conversation with you, because I love doing energy pulls is what I call them, where we're all flowing together, the same energetic soup. It's delicious. It's delightful. Okay, so I got to ask you this question because you are on the Choosing Happiness podcast, Astrid. You are. It's a true story. Tell the listeners, I know they would like to know. How is it that you get your happy on? What do you do to choose your happy?
I say then to you, I follow what is light. And even if the choice, my mind is going on, what? Are you choosing this? Well, I was in Mexico, I was on CF training. And then I thought, I should go to El Lugar, to Costa Rica. And it was so light. Then my heart was saying to me, yes, but you have patience and you have to give lectures and you have blah, 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 blah. And I still followed the lightness, and it gave me so much happiness. And that's also how I live my life, to follow the lightness, to make the choice that feels the most light. And it's not always, how should I say that? Not always easy, because it can feel really uncomfortable, but it gives so much more joy, and also discovering something that is me, that I thought from, wow, is this also me? And I really stepped up. And that's also why I feel then so happy. And when I come home, so I did come home last Friday, and I had
Oh,
right away,
you were there a while. You were there for over a week.
yeah,
Yes?
or
Oh,
yeah. And then I started already on Monday with the energy pool or meditation. And on Tuesday, I had a meeting together with some people that I gave a retreat for 4 days. And I thought, I will bring this feeling or this sense or this happiness or this joy, I will bring it in. And it lighted up the whole scene, it lighted up everybody. So that makes me happy.
yeah.
It makes me so happy.
You just basically described empowering you to
Yeah,
know that you know.
yeah, that's right.
And
Thank you.
you followed that energy of, I know this is going to create for me. I don't know what it's going to create. It could create crap. In this case, it did not. But created joy and happiness. And then you got to be that invitation
Yeah.
when you came home. You know, a
Hmm.
lot of people would be like, oh, why would you choose? That's like, I chose to go to the castle. Woo, give it a little sip of water.
Uh,
I chose to go to the castle last year for the New Year's masquerade party. And you guys, I mean, the rooms are like 350 euros and the meal is 650 euros. And I thought, well, while I'm there is a 3-day body class with Heather Nichols. Why don't I just take it? Because
uh-huh.
it's a 3-day body class and it's at the castle. And the castle is such an invitation. So here
Hmm.
I am staying at the castle from the 28th through the new year. And the space, it's, I'm sure it's similar to Elgar. I am
Hmm.
an investor in Elgar as you are. Where Elgar, you guys, means in Spanish, the place. And it is an amazing place. I mean, I've seen pictures and videos and have taken, calls and stuff from people that are there, and you can perceive the energy of it. I
Hmm.
haven't personally been yet. I know it's calling me probably next year, but I can see where that would help you get your happy on, girl. Just you talking about it energetically, something shifted. So
Hmm.
note that, y'all. Lean in to El Lagar.
Yeah,
Mm,
that's
maybe you guys
cool.
want to. It's a resort like no other. Gary Douglas, I think he accidentally on purpose did this, accidentally shipped a bunch of antiques there. And so every room, because in Costa Rica they don't really go in, they're not into antiques or anything. So each room is very different. It's not cookie cutter, like a Holiday Inn or, Hilton, not to knock those other brands where you walk in and you can pretty much guess the room's going to be laid out the same way with the same furniture in each room. This is an experience on its own, and the whole place is self-sustainable. They didn't chop down any trees. They positioned the houses in a way where the wind or the air would actually circulate, and that would run the electricity. They have an amazing chef. They've got an infinity pool out there. All the animals are invited, so you will see all kinds of crazy animals out there. And
There.
also, they have a. Did you go horseback riding when you were there? They also have a
Yeah,
stable with
yes,
horses.
I did. Yeah. Yeah, there
Nice.
were a lot of horses. Yeah, it was so beautiful. And I would also say that the place, El Lugar, is breathing consciousness.
Yeah.
It's
I bel
really in tune with consciousness and with nature. It's so beautiful. Yeah, the
I'll make
energies.
sure to have the links because you guys need to check El Lagar out as well. It's amazing.
Yes, it is.
Whew. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of this with all
Um,
my peeps.
Thank you, Rudrani, for inviting me. It was
So,
lovely. It was so nice to do. Thank you so much.
oh, you're so welcome. I'm so grateful for you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you real soon. And if you guys want to join us in the Netherlands, we will have the link below, all the things, and we have different translations. So not, I'll be speaking English. We have Dutch translation. German and Russian is available, and I actually found someone who's willing now to translate Italian because you're bordering all these other countries.
That's
Y'all may
right.
as well come play with us. I'm just saying. So, what would it take? What will it take for y'all to come play and step into your voice, whatever
Yes,
that could be?
Let's invite you all.
Mm-hmm. If you like this conversation, please click the subscribe button below. And if you know anyone that this conversation could be a contribution to, please share and comment. I actually read them all and respond. What do you know? What a concept. So this is the Happiness Lady signing off. Until next time, y'all. Ciao, ciao for now.
Bye.
Thank you so much for choosing happiness. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe, share, and give us a like. And if you want more happy, subscribe to the Choosing Happiness membership where you can play directly with me, Rudrani Devi, the Happiness Lady. How does it get any better than that?